Hello and welcome to episode 26 of Let's Hear It. Another field trip today. I am in Bernardsville, New Jersey, visiting my very old friend, John Ginty. John is a great musician. He's played with many people. He started off with our mutual friend, Neil Casal. He played with Robert Randolph. He played with Jewel. He played with Citizen Cope for many years. Played with the Dixie Chicks, or the Chicks as they're now known. I'm walking down the stairs to his studio. He is a current member of the Allman band. He's got a Grammy there. Lots of pictures on the way to the studio. There's John with Greg Allman. There are trucks. There are the Chicks, their tour dates. Oh, his Blues Music Award, how about that? Best Gospel Album nomination. Didn't win. Should have won. Didn't win. There's a Dixie Chicks poster. There's our friend Neil Casal, his debut album. John played all over that. And this Allman Brothers poster, this is a rare Allman Brothers poster that I gave John. It was in a box set that the Allmans put out in the early 90s. What was the box set called? Dreams, I believe. There's a multi-platinum record for Santana. John played on a song on that record that Citizen Cope did. Sideways? Sun's Gonna Rise? I don't know. I forget. What was it?
Hi, Gary.
Hello.
Well,
Was it Sideways or Sun's Gonna Rise?
Sideways.
Sideways.
And then Carlos played on Sun's Gonna Rise on the Cope record.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Cool. This is our old friend Terry Loftus.
Hello.
He is a fantastic sound engineer. He was on that first Neil Casal tour. And here we go into the Shark Tank studio. We're going to see some great instruments that John has here. Here we are in Shark Tank Studios. My old pal John Ginty. John we used to share a house about 15 miles from here in Morristown, New Jersey, in the starving early days of the early 90s.
Yeah. We didn't have a lot back then.
We were waiting for Neil Casal to get a record deal. We thought we were going to be rich. We just had to struggle through a couple of years. And I had left a job at a record label, and we thought Neil was destined for stardom. So we were living in this house and eating popcorn and macaroni and cheese.
And watching Knicks games.
Lots of Knicks games, lots of O.J. Simpson stuff.
Well, yeah, that kind of dates it, right? We watched the O.J. trial, and it was the last year, like Patrick Ewing is finally going to do it, you know? So that sort of dates when this time period was.
Game 7.
Yeah.
The ill-fated Game 7 loss to the Rockets, the John Starks Memorial Game. 3 for 18, I believe he was.
Brick after brick. Remember it like it was yesterday.
But yeah, so since then, John's logged a lot of miles playing with a lot of people, and I've logged a lot of miles watching a lot of people play. And today, John's going to show us some of his great instruments, particularly this Hammond Porta B, which is a portable B3. So we'll hear about that and a couple other things back there, and see you in a minute. The unmistakable sound of the Hammond B3. But what's different about this one, you can actually see the guy who's playing it. You can see his feet. Where's the rest of that thing?
It's different. This is a 72 Hammond Porta B.
Porta B.
Only in production for about 8 months in 1972, and they decided it was a bad idea, and they took it out of production. Same tone wheel generator as a B3, same percussion, same vibrato. Somewhat limited, but still the exact same components. All tube, all tone wheel. Genius really to separate it like this. So this is the organ I had with me on the Fadeaway Diamond Time tour. And this is the organ I had with me when we went to the Carriage House to just do our first demos. So the bottom folds up into a nice little package. The two legs come down like this, and one guy can pick it up and walk away with it. And then two guys can get on either side of this and lift it and carry it away.
Which we did many times.
It's already burned that. Take it outside and break it.
And if most of you are watching this have probably seen a regular Hammond B3, which would be, there would be no space there. It would be a full console. It's a giant piece of heavy furniture, and they're difficult to move around. They have to go on a contraption to be safely moved, or go in a truck or a trailer. This, when we used to tour with a van and a trailer, was great because, like John said, 2 people could move it. You didn't need 4 people, and we took it upstairs and we took it downstairs.
Down the basement. And
Dan and I forming a flying wedge with this thing to get out of that club in Boston.
In Boston, Paradise Rock Club.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no doubt.
But Dan was on the front like this.
Really cool on this.
I brought up the rear, and it was just like the seas parted like Moses.
True. But yeah, this is the only organ that they put a sticker on, which is a super cool feature. And I wish they did that to more organs, because I think that's hot. And everybody knows what it is that you're playing. So that's really cool. You get an octave of bass pedals, which sound really good. I put these on records all the time for people. It's a really good bass sound.
Deep Purple sound.
Yeah. But it's got the, it's got the cool sustain. You could hold that one all day. So that's a cool feature. It comes with reverb, which is great. If you know my sound, you know I like reverb. So that's with it. So the Porta B does a lot. I used this with the family band too, for the first year and a half, 2 years on tour. So it's taken a beating. It's broken in different places. There's cigarette burns on the keys. It's all kind of loose. And after years on the road, it eventually said no more. And so that's why it's here now. It lives in the studio. It makes records. And it's on a lot. This organ is probably on, I'm going to say 30 or 40 records. So you may have heard this organ already. Maybe on an NFL commercial even.
Oh, yeah.
NFL commercial.
That's correct.
Yep.
Well, great. Thanks for showing us that. So there's some other stuff here in the studio, the Shark Tank studio, as you call it. What else you got? What else you want to show us?
Well, we could talk about this. This is really cool. This is an old Wurlitzer 112. This lived at a studio called Ocean Way out in California, later to become a place called Cello, where we worked a lot.
Yeah.
How many records did we do there?
Quite a few.
Quite a few. And so this was always kind of in the side back room. Neil had the room for a little while. He made a couple records in there and made some demos in there. This piano was a big part of it. So when Jim Scott moved all his stuff out of there, he ended up with a bunch of pianos up at his new place, Pliers. So Jim calls me one day and he says, he goes, "Hey man, you ever find yourself in the need to play the first 2 notes of Queen's You're My Best Friend?" Which, if you know the song, starts with a famous piano part. I thought about it and I said, yeah, I need to get that sound every once in a while. And he's like, all right, what's your address? So I gave my address and this showed up. And I knew right away what it was because I had seen it out in California so many times. And it literally does do that. falls out a lot. But yeah, that's kind of what it does. It just makes that cool sound. It's a really old, like the Ray Charles. The old, what I said. It does what it does. They're hard to play, but it makes it on records. It's on a lot of records.
I wonder if it ever went on an Elvis record.
That's the thing is
There
with
he
these
is.
old California pianos, you don't really know like where this was, where it lived, or who played it, or who walked through that studio and just kind of knocked around on it.
Sure.
If it could talk, it's got some stories. You know?
What's back there?
So this is an old vibraphone. This is kind of the first instrument that I started on. This is what got me to keyboards, because I was a drummer all through high school, and I played drums in the jazz band, and we kept getting charts sent back for vibraphone parts, and they would always just get discarded by the drummers in the section. You know, everybody just wanted to play the drum set. I just got to hook up this pedal here. So finally, I said, don't we have a set of vibraphones back there? And they said, yeah, we do. So I took it upon myself to kind of learn this part that was pretty important part in the show. And you get to drag this big thing out and play it. So that was my first venture as to reading music and, taking music from just playing beats on drum kits to applying it to here. So
Playing melodies for the first time.
yeah, and that's what got me to piano. Is I literally took my part that I had learned for vibraphone and just took it to a piano one day and played it like a knucklehead. It was love at first sight.
Wow. Is that going through an amp?
No, it just does that on its own. Isn't that amazing?
Where's the volume coming out of?
It's just these bars, these metal bars, just the way they resonate, and there's the pipes underneath it. The resonators definitely throw the sound up, but yeah, there's no. Now it does plug in.
It's loud enough. We don't need to hear it plugged in.
No, the plug-in actually doesn't make it louder. It actually, this would be worth doing. So the cool thing about a vibraphone is underneath there's a metal motor that throws something over the resonators that causes it to vibrate. And much like a Leslie cabinet, which I use with the organ, you can control the speed of it, right? So if you get up here, Gary, you can see the motor turning. The spindles are right there, right? And that causes a little rotation underneath. So you could dial up the speed kind of to the song that you're playing, right? So that's
Fantastic.
full vibrato effect.
Amazing.
Yeah, they're pretty neat. Realistically, you know, when I play this and put it on somebody's record, I go like this.
Just add the lightest touch.
And that's usually about what happens.
People get scared when those notes start blurring together. Where's my song?
If you actually try to play anything on it, you know, you can get fired real quick. But if you just kind of, you know, just lay the sound in it, you'll find it. It's on a Hazy Malaise record.
What else is it? What are the classic famous vibraphone recordings?
Oh man, well Lionel Hampton is the cat.
The master.
That's the master. So pretty much anything that he's ever done.
Yes.
And you know, he also, which I did it a little bit, but I never mastered it, being able to use 4 mallets.
Oh gosh.
Right, but that was really his thing, and it's really hard to do.
Yeah.
It's hard to get it right. So I always stuck with 2. But yeah, some cats do that.
Amazing.
Yeah. But it's fun to have. It's good to have in the studio, and it's sort of the in between. If a Wurlitzer or a vintage vibe or a real piano, if none of those are fitting the bill, and we're out of ideas, then I'll run over here and play this, and people usually go, "That's it."
If I come down here with my hammered dulcimer, we could do duets. That would scare everyone away.
Yes.
No one would want to be near us.
No.
Hammered dulcimer and vibraphone duet album.
We could maybe get a gig at like Epstein's in Pottstown or something.
If they were still in business,
They
we
were
could
still in
go
business. They would love us.
there. All right. Well, thank you, John. Thanks for showing us all this great stuff. You got anything else you want to show us for the last minute?
Yeah, sure. Come look at this. This is pretty cool, actually. That's the digital world over there, which I will say that Korg Kronos is the bomb. Korg got that to me for the Dixie Chicks tour, and the sounds in that thing are incredible. The string sections, incredible. I put that on a lot of records as well.
Cool.
But this is pretty
Terry
cool.
Loftus. Hello, Terry. Oh, yeah. We didn't show the Hammond Leslie.
This is a special Leslie too. That's why I wanted to show it to you. This is the original 122 that I got in 1995 from gov't Professional up in Connecticut. Neil helped me get it, and Neil helped me carry it. This did the Fade Away Diamond Time tour. This was down in the Oak Ridge basement. This did a lot of Neil Casale stuff, and it was my main touring rig from the 90s till about 2012. And so in that time, all these tour passes you see behind me got to open for a lot of cool people and play with a lot of cool people. So yeah, 2001, Greg Allman signed it, wished me good luck, and put 2001 in quotes, which I thought was interesting and cool. And when we did a short little tour opening for Carlos Santana, and that's CT. Is the great organ player Chester Thompson who let me sit in with him every night, and also signed this particular Leslie. This was also on that tour. So it's a great sounding Leslie. It's an awesome cabinet. It's done a lot of stuff, but yeah, just the history behind it is pretty neat.
Great.
Yeah.
And of course, that Leslie went along with the Porta B3, the Hammond Porta B3. That's what we were hearing
Yeah, that's
when
the
John
speaker
was
you
playing
were
that.
Yep.
Awesome.
Without a Leslie, an organ is a doorstop.
Indeed.
Yeah. They need each other.
Yes.